Welcome back. Well, welcome to the Why So Serious podcast. I'm your host, Brandon. We got Devin and Mike with you. What's going on, Devin? Mike? Speak.
Mike, go first. Mike, go first. You should go first, Mike. But is
Oh
your mic
my
working, Mike?
God. Jesus Christ.
Oh, well, I'm here. I'm delighted to be here. And look at this new format. There's titles and everything. Go for it, Michael.
I agree. I like the new look at our new vibe. I mean, it's great. Brendan did all this hard work, and I did no help at all, honestly. I think he wanted me to. So shout out to Brendan.
All right, yeah.
Definitely.
We are here to talk about X-Men 97, episode 4. It was a two-parter, Motendo and Lifedeath Part 1. Devin, did that
So
bring you
before,
back to when you were a kid, when they used to do
yeah, I mean,
two-part
amazing.
episodes on like cartoons?
I was gonna say that. I was gonna ask you guys, how do y'all feel about it? Because personally, I loved it because it gave us a chance to like not take so serious the storyline, and then gave us the storyline, and then we can still get to learn about these mutant powers. Like you seeing Jubilee in the future, or just being in the game forever, and seeing how she can evolve her powers and stuff like that was super cool. Um, and I'm all about like two separate episodes to just give people somebody that not maybe not be in the storyline, like if Gambit, because apparently people don't really like Gambit this year. I mean, this season it's only 4 episodes, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But Gambit is still getting. How I don't know. I'm really sad for him because he gets played to his face on every episode, and like so far, and like I don't understand. Like that's not the Gambit and Rogue relationship I was used to. So I'm,
We'll
I'm
get
like
into that
learning.
though, because I don't think he's getting played. I don't think it's actually going down with Rogue and
Magneto.
Magneto. I got a theory about
Okay,
what's actually happening there. Um,
Mike, how did you feel about the two-parter? I
I
mean, two
actually
separate episodes.
I thought this was the weakest of all the episodes so far.
wow,
Really?
I
what a
did.
Wow.
hot
I
take!
I felt
I
yeah, that
don't.
is very
I
hot.
didn't think it would be a hot take. I
It is
thought
a hot
Super
take.
hot.
like they were way too short, and I feel like the Jubilee thing was just kind of like whatever. But then it took away, and then the Storm thing was so fast, and for such an important thing storyline for her, especially since she hasn't gotten any attention really the last couple episodes. I thought it was so fast, and I don't know why we had to cut both into like half of the time block. I think we
So
lost.
Mike, let me ask you this question. What the fuck you supposed to do when you starting to learn? You like
no,
recounting
see,
a love
Devin,
story.
you don't understand. Mike is young. You gotta remember, he's younger than us. They didn't do this on X-Men the animated series, but when we was growing up, Saturday morning cartoons, they would do this shit all the time. They would have like multiple story cartoons. If you watched Hanna-Barbera cartoons, it'd be like 3 stories in one 30-minute fucking episode. Like this was
You
just
getting Magilla Gorilla, you
this shit was
getting
normal.
Snagglepuss, you getting, and then you getting like the Birdman or
But
something like
Mike's
that, like some
28
shit like
years
that.
old. He
Yeah, but
didn't
we were
he
also already talking about how it was kind of fast last week, and that was one story for the entire block. And then now this week we've got 2 stories in the same
well,
block of time.
yes, that's true. Well, that's why I said I understand why it's startling to you. Last week was different than this week because last week was they told a long story quickly.
Fast. Yeah.
This was a short story and then a part of a story. So there's a whole episode called Life Death Part 2, not this week but the following week. That's going to be like the whole rest of this Storm story. So I think they just wanted to make sure we ain't forget about her. Like, hey, she's still like this thing is still going. But no, I want to hear more, Mike, because you're 28 years old. You didn't grow up with the cartoons that we grew
Well,
up with.
okay, I did have cartoons that were split like you're
Like
talking
what?
about.
Josh and Drake or something? Was that a cartoon?
No,
No.
SpongeBob. Every SpongeBob episode is like this.
SpongeBob was like that. I think Johnny Bravo was like that. I used to
Hold
watch-
on.
Yes.
You know Johnny
Cow-
Bravo?
Yeah, I
Sour
watched
cow chicken.
Hanna Scooby Doo. I watched a lot of Scooby Doo. That's Hanna Barbera. I mean, Scooby Doo's been around long before me, and is still around today.
Really?
There's, the Flintstones and the Jetsons. They were both like that.
You watched that?
Yeah.
I can't.
So I know what you're talking about, but here's the thing. Yeah, if all the episodes were like that, I would get it, but they're
Okay,
not.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
So like, it just felt. I was shocked when this then when I was watching the Jubilee thing, it just feels to me like there's 3 characters who have not really gotten that much attention, and then we just gave them like their spotlight for a little bit. But I didn't think the Jubilee storyline compared at all, or was related in any way, or as important as the Storm half. Because
It's not supposed to be though.
Well, yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
no,
they're not
that's
supposed to
fair.
be related
No,
to each other,
right.
but it's like
Yeah.
I wanted. Honestly, after I've seen the whole episode, I was like, I didn't care. I don't care about the Jubilee thing. Was whatever. Like, fine. It was a little bit of character development, but I would have preferred if I got to see more of what Storm was doing. And like the end of that confused the hell out of me. I mean, if you read the comics, I'm sure you know what's coming, but I'm not as familiar with these as you've learned over the last few weeks. So I was sitting there like, what just happened? What is this demon Raven bird thing?
I got some comic book stuff for you. I'll explain this to you. Because the X-Men is my shit. Like, I read comic books every week, but the X-Men is my shit.
Special. It's special to you too. It's very special.
Oh yeah, but that's why I was so mad at all them fucking movies. one of the highest downloaded episodes we've ever done on the show was way back when, and we were reviewing the old X-Men movies, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to be the show that just gets mad at everything. But those movies make me angry. They make me so angry. But before we get into this episode, we do have some breaking news that happened a little bit before the show started. Mike, I don't know if you saw this, but they've casted Julia Garner as the Shala Ball version of Silver Surfer. So not Norrin Rad, but we're going to get Shala Ball Silver Surfer. What do you think about that, Michael?
I did not see that. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool that they're introducing the Silver Surfer in general.
I got a question. Who the fuck is that? Go ahead. Who the fuck is that?
The Silver Surfer?
Which part?
No,
the actress.
The Shala Ball. I don't know. Like this.
Shala Ball Silver Surfer.
That's her
Yeah.
name.
Who?
No, that's not. Her name.
I thought it was.
No, that's her different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her character's name.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's a different.
It's not
Herald.
the same. Yeah, it's a different.
It's a different Herald.
It's not Norrin Rad. Correct. It's not Norrin Rad.
Yeah, that's why I was like, who the fuck is she? That's what I want. I don't know anything about her. Period.
Well, I don't think a lot of
you know a bunch of people are gonna be all mad now.
Well, that's why I like it. Anything that makes those people mad makes me happy. I got to be honest with you.
Like, I agree.
If you're mad that they having a woman Silver Surfer because it's a woman, I want you to be mad. Now, usually this happens with like characters people don't care about, and I'll say, well, nobody was actually a fan of that character to begin with, so why are you mad? I do think there are people who are fans of Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer. So I am. I can see someone's like, oh, I really want to see him in the MCU, but like, did you really want to see Norrin Rad?
I only know him from the movie.
Well, yeah.
He had his own show. He did
have a show, and it was the animated show and from Fox in the late 90s. It came on after. Yeah. So they had the X-Men, and then that was such a success. Then they had Spider-Man, the animated series. Remember Spider-Man, that one? And
Spider was the only one that was really successful. Like had more than like 2 seasons.
Yeah, they did Iron Man, and I mean Iron Man was okay, but we've talked about it on the show before. Those characters weren't that popular before the MCU. And then they did Fantastic Four, and that was when the Fantastic Four had like the dark uniforms, like the dark blue uniforms on the show. And then they spun off the Fantastic Four and had the Silver Surfer show. And the Silver Surfer show had the best animation out of all those shows. Like the animation was crazy for that. But I heard it was mad expensive, so they only did like 1 season of it. Because like everyone wasn't watching it, and the animation was mad expensive. But the other thing that this tells us is that the Silver Surfer is going to be in this first Fantastic Four film.
That's what I'm excited about.
Which means it's possible we can see Galactus. Well, it's possible. Galactus.
Eventually.
Long they don't do that bullshit.
It would make sense to me that the first movie is the Silver Surfer shows up, and then you tease like Galactus is coming. Because like if you remember, I don't know if you read the story. I thought I made you read it, Mike. I don't know. The Coming of Galactus. But essentially what happens is Silver Surfer comes to Earth because Galactus sends the dudes out there to basically troll the planets and be like, oh yeah, this is a good planet for you to eat. And he shows up and eats that shit. And Silver Surfer got there and he basically got convinced that's like, we shouldn't eat this.
Mess with this
we shouldn't eat this planet. And then he teams with the Fantastic Four to fight against Galactus. And then, and this is the funniest shit of all time. And if you watch, the Fantastic Four had a show in the 60s. That's hilarious. But I used to watch it all the time. But in order to stop Galactus, the Human Torch goes into space and he gets this weapon called the Ultimate Nullifier, which is basically it's basically like a plot point where it's in storyline. You can just, if you think of anything, it will do it. So they basically come back and was like, we're gonna use this Ultimate Nullifier, you Galactus, if you don't leave. And so he left, but the punishment was he banned the Silver Surfer to Earth. He's like, you can't leave Earth now. You can't travel the galaxy no more. You stuck on Earth. And so for a while, the Silver Surfer was stuck on Earth. So that's what happened in that story. So I wonder if they're gonna do some type of facsimile of that. I don't know. But yeah, that was kind of big news. So anyway, let's get into this episode 4. The first part, episode 4, was Motendo. Mike, did you have any of the old like 16-bit video games? Did you have a Sega or a Super Nintendo?
My uncle was a big video game person, and he got me the earliest console I ever had was a Super Nintendo, I think, was the version. Okay. So yeah, but I only had like Mario and like I think it was Super Mario Bros. 3.
You missed out on Super Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, I also didn't even. That thing was. So I remember setting it up was a pain in the ass. It had like.
No, it wasn't. It's the best.
It was like 15 cables and.
No, it wasn't.
I had that, and then the first real console I had was a PS1. So 8-bit was pretty much done by
that.
Then.
Was the first console that you had that you were playing.
Well, I played the Super Nintendo thing, but the first one that was my first console was like that we bought was the PlayStation 1.
Okay, so you don't remember it. So Devin and I are old, so we definitely remember. This brought me back to going to the arcade and playing X-Men the arcade game or
so good.
Children of the Atom. Children of the Atom was more of a fighting game, but it was still that style game. Like this was like, last thing, Mike, reminiscing. Did they have arcades when you were young? You were born.
I've never been to a real arcade. I always saw them on TV shows, and I was like, "This looks like so much fun," but I never got to go. I never been to an arcade. Arcades were only like small little sections in like movie theaters.
Wow.
Yes, they had arcades, and you would go to the arcade, and you would get all your coins. Well, you get some dollars, and they had a coin machine, and you go to the coin machine, you put your dollars in there, and they give you tokens, so it's not real money. So you can't take that shit nowhere else sometimes. But then some arcades would actually take the quarters and you go put the quarters in there. Then as we got older, it stopped being quarters and it started being 50 cents because they was taxing people because people weren't showing up to the arcade anymore. But Jubilee knew all about the arcade games and the Sega games, and she took her ass into her room. But before then...
How did you like the planting of like all the old retro stuff, like, you know, the old X-Men video game on a Sega, because that's what it was.
Yeah,
I was a Sega.
The front of it. Yeah.
Like me and my brother used to try to beat that. That shit was so hard, bro. Like Magneto was so fucking strong on that game, yo. Like, like X-Men, the actual game is fucking hard on Sega. That shit was super hard. And like, since you know you got all these mod things, like Brandon, whenever I'm with you, we got to try to beat that shit.
Oh yeah, because I got the arcade shit. I forgot. That's probably up there. I need to check.
And then this like all the little nuances of bringing old with the new, because we want to make sure everybody understands that this is the best telling of X-Men, and we're going to continue to tell you an amazing story in this animation. So I love that.
The animation looked great this episode, by the way.
Super good.
It looked real good. But yeah, the show started off. They had it previously by X-Men, and they've been doing this the whole season. We've been talking about it in our reviews. But like each episode, one of the main characters does the previously on X-Men. But when we were growing up, it was Cyclops. Every episode, it was just straight Cyclops. But this week it was Jubilee. But the episode started with Magneto and Rogue got some coffee, and Gambit's like, "Hey, girl, you know, we ain't chit chatted in a while. We ain't talked in a minute. I ain't forgot about you. Let me get you this coffee." And she was like, "I mean, that's nice of you, but the final boss, already took care of that for me." And Magneto showed up like, oh yeah, and you gotta do it right. Make sure you hit that 3 sugars. And he uses magnetism power to pick them spoons up and dump 3 sugars in there.
Bro,
And Gambit looks so salty. And
that man Magneto would have made me make the haters ball. Because I swear to God, I'm hating that man every day of the week, twice on Sunday, maybe 4 times on Sunday. Because it was just so smooth. And he's just like, and Gambit couldn't do nothing there, but just had a gas face. Like, huh? Okay.
And so then
Rogue ate that shit up too.
Well, here's the thing. And then Gambit was trying to play it off. So then Gambit was like, well, you getting me a cappuccino since you out here like delivering
taking orders.
Taking orders?
He said, you taking orders? He said, no, I give orders. Magneto, hey man, boss, I'm trying to fight. I'm just trying to fight. Like I'm gonna lose, but I'm trying to fight.
Wow, that's funny. I don't actually think Magneto's fucking Rogue. I don't think he's fucking Rogue.
Mike, what do you think?
What do you think, Mike?
I thought he was. I didn't. It was in a previous episode. It was heavily. They definitely did it at least once.
I mean, if they were fucking and they only did it once, that would be disappointing on one of those two ends.
Yeah.
But no, I actually think that Magneto is helping Rogue. Is what I think.
Helping her what? Being able to touch people? What the fuck?
Yes.
What is he gonna help her with?
Yes.
Okay.
Being able to touch people. I think he's like trying to shock her or something. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I think he's trying to use his magnetism power. You know how magnets can fuck up a lot of shit in real life?
Yeah.
Like I think they're gonna try to use like comic book logic to be like, yeah, he's doing some magnetism shit to help her with her problems. Also, we got people in the chat and Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Talk in the chat if you want to say something, we'll bring it up and talk about it on the show. It's our first time doing it live, so we appreciate anybody in the chat. But no, it's Jubilee's birthday, so they all talking about what we're gonna do for Jubilee. She's 18 years old. Jubilee a grown woman now. And Jubilee come in talking about, I want to go to an arcade.
Hey, who has?
And that's why I asked Mike if he ever been to an arcade, because he ain't never came in and told his mama, Ma, I want to go to an arcade. You ain't never had that conversation.
I don't think she would have taken me anyway.
She would have took it. Mike, as spoiled as you are, your ass would have been at that fucking arcade.
Look,
it gets a lot worse than me.
Oh yeah, definitely. But $20 with the arcade was a good time.
$20.
I don't even know where. I don't even think there were any standalone arcades.
So, Mike, you haven't been to one of the like millennial, like retro arcades that they do now?
I have in a bar.
Like here they got they got barcades. Yeah,
I've been to those. Yeah.
Okay, you've been to those.
I imagine that's what it was like, but now I can like.
Well, you couldn't drink, but yes, it was like that. Except it'd be packed on after school and on weekends.
On Saturdays,
they're definitely packed. So I don't know. The barcades are always packed.
They got one here in Texas called Cidercade, where they sell hard cider, all different types of hard cider, and all these.
I went to the one in San Diego, Brand. I went to that shit.
Yeah. So like those things coming. It's funny how like the people who didn't grow up with us like, oh, this looks cool back in the day. Let's do this. I was like, yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. So Jubilee came in, and clearly Magneto. Can you imagine Magneto in the arcade? Like, could y'all imagine
that? Fucking everything.
As serious as his ass is in a fucking arcade, like, what are we doing? No. Hey, Magneto's not going to an arcade.
He could get whack-a-mole, boy. He could get all the tickets for whack-a-mole. Be like, hey, Magneto, I want that big ass hippo on the wall. Can you get it for me? Boom, whack-a-mole. He got them all.
Somebody should do a show on mutants using their powers for regular ass shit, just to like be better than other people just in everyday life, right? Just like everyday life. Like, can you imagine Charles Xavier before, like when his
on Jeopardy, just kicking
on Jeopardy, but even before that, like in school, just getting all the answers and shit, and everybody being mad at him, wanting to beat his ass because he just could read everybody's mind and know shit. And also, if Charles Xavier could talk, like if he could cut a promo, Charles Xavier could talk some real shit in the school.
Be the best manager?
No, in the schoolyards. Like, because he just read somebody's mind and see all the fucked up shit that's happening to them and just start talking shit about them, talk shit about their mama.
How do you feel about your daddy? Beat the shit out your mama today. Like, oh.
Like, if he was real fucked up and like somebody was poor and like they ain't had no food the night before or some shit, Like he could read their mind and see them all sad in their house because they can't even eat ramen noodles the night before, talking shit to
Oh,
everybody.
Timmy, would you
He'd
like
be
some of my
fucked up.
porridge? Like, oh shit.
That'd be a good ass show, but that'd be real fucked up. Like I would love to see that.
Oh man.
Then they cut back to Jubilee's room, and her room looked like it's such a
A
teenager's
teenager.
room, like
Yeah,
such a
a
teenager's
teenager.
room. And she's going back and forth like, oh, Magneto, he ain't trying to show up at the arcade, but the master of magnetism with all this fake shit.
Hey yo, first let's take a pause for for Jubilee's work husband Roberto, because when you get mad at work, you get mad at home. Who you go to? Your work husband. Your work like Roberto was like,
No,
yeah,
that's
I
more
heard
than her
that.
work husband at this point. At the
I
end of
mean,
this shit,
at the end, but I'm just saying, like, boom. He was like, go off, sis, go off, sis. I hear you. That shit was good, boy. Roberto.
but then he was like, let's play these video games. And
Roberto was like, nah, I don't really play video games because that motherfucker rich.
I mean, he's kind of like this in the comic books, but like
Also,
they
rich
making
people
you
play
hate this
video
dude.
games.
Like they making you like, I don't really like him. Like I'm like, you hate yourself, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, he does.
But yeah, so they hit the, and so Jubilee shows up and was like, this ain't my game. Like, what the fuck is this? This not my game. And it's Motendo, which we talked about. And she's like, well, fuck it. It's here. They must have brought me some gifts. So we're gonna play the Motendo. And they sit down to grab the Motendo, they turn that shit on, and the Motendo grabs them. It puts them in the fucking video game. Do you remember the game? Do you remember the TV show, Devin? I'm doing a lot of reminiscing today, but you know, this show is about reminiscing. You remember the TV show on Nickelodeon? What was it called? Nick Arcade, where at the end, like
I
they would play
remember.
the arcade games. And then they
Yeah, I
get points.
remember that, but I can't remember like any. I know the name, but I don't remember.
But
how
at
it
the
came on and
end,
shit.
like the final part of Nick Arcade is you got to be inside of a video game, essentially, and you would go like behind this green screen, and they'd be like Frogger games, the stupid shit where you got to jump on shit and try to climb through shit like a video game. So this was very 90s. This was such a 90s thing to get pulled into a video game, and they get their ass pulled into the video game. Oh, I forgot. They in passing they said Jubilee said that Gene and Scott they ain't here. They went off somewhere, and they at the UN because Genosha
Hey,
is about to be accepted into the UN. And I just have to say, last week on Twitter, I made some jokes about Scott Summers being a deadbeat because, you know, he just let Madelyne Pryor leave his house. He didn't even walk him out to the gate or nothing. Just your baby mama, you lost your son, right? Your son got took to the future. So like your son got took to the future. Then your baby mama is like leaving and you can't even walk her to the gate. You can't even say goodbye, give her a hug. And then on top of that, you go back to the room with a stranger. And you sitting on a stranger's bed waiting for her. And somebody tried to say she's not a stranger. That's his love of his life. I said, Madelyne clearly gave birth to Nathan. So he been fucking Madelyne for at least 9 months. People get married in 9 months. So that's a stranger. And then all of a sudden, there's Cyclops stands. I did not know there were Cyclops stands. There's people.
no, they're out there. They're definitely
People
out
were
there.
adding me with like Cyclops 2377 at 2377 Cyclops coming at me talking about you don't get this. He's going through some things. He's trying to figure some stuff out. Cut him a break. And I was like, you cutting Madelyne a break? She got brainwashed by a crazy man from the 19th century.
She's not even real, bro. What are you talking about? She's a clone. Like
She got new powers. Her baby got taken from her. And after all that, her baby daddy is leaving her for her twin. He's a deadbeat.
hey, first of all, the Easter eggs they put in this show, chef kiss for all the Easter eggs. Like the divorce court shit, boy.
They get pulled in the video game, but before they realize it, they out in the street fighting and shit. And Jubilee has to beat the fucking Sentinel. And she goes, Sunspot. Oh no, she don't call him Sunspot yet. She goes,
Roberto.
Roberto, what the fuck's wrong with you? You could use your powers and help. But what if my parents see me? What are my parents? And that's his whole thing. Like, because his parents is rich as fuck, and he don't want to embarrass them. Like, that's the whole thing in the book and shit. But it's just funny on the TV show because he looked like such a self-hating ass person. Like Jason Whitlock, would you use your fucking powers, my nigga? Just use your powers, Whitlock, please. It's okay if they know that you're a mutant. Mike, you don't know who Jason Whitlock is, do you?
No.
You don't. It's okay. Be better. You're better for it.
You're better.
He's not Jason Whitlock. That's too strong. He's not Jason Whitlock.
Oh man.
So yeah, they keep going. Then they get transported to the Savage Land, and they fight some people in the Savage Land. And then that's when they realize they're in the video game. And Mojo's back. Mojo's from the comic books. He was in the first animated series. Jubilee cracking
in a video game.
Mojo, talking about you look like you lost some weight. Here's the thing with Mojo, right? He feeds off of ratings. This is so fucking funny. This is so meta, right? So he feeds off of ratings. So like the more people watching his fucking show, the fatter he gets. That's why, and so his ratings was low, and that's why he tried to get these people in this video game so he can get his ratings up. And Mike, you would like this. So apparently I was reading that interdimensional cable on Rick and Morty was inspired by this.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Can you see that? Can you see how that can happen?
Yeah.
It's basically like making television shows and video games for all these people to watch throughout different dimensions and to cheer on
cool.
and get ratings from. So Mojo's back, and Mojo's like, look, I'm gonna put you through this game. This game's based on your memories. Each level's based on Jubilee's memories. And that's when they cut to the 16-bit graphics. And it took me straight back to like 1994, 1995 playing these fucking games, man. Mashing buttons on the arcade, all that shit. Like that's probably I think that might be a reason why you didn't like this one as much, Mike, because you can't relate to that, right?
Not at all.
You don't like you can't relate.
I mean,
to that at all.
I've played 8-bit games before.
Look,
I don't have any like big strong memories of doing it.
So Jubilee wasn't Jubilee. Was Jubilee in there or Dazzle? Is Jubilee Dazzle? Who the fuck is Dazzle? And why is Dazzle in that game and Jubilee not in that game?
Dazzler.
Who the fuck? Like, who? Like, is she?
Well, Dazzler. Dazzler. We did. So Dazzler was on the first animated series, but she didn't really have shit to do with Mojo. The funniest thing is that Dazzler in the first show was when it was after the Dark Phoenix saga when they thought Jean was gone, and Cyclops. After the Phoenix saga, before she came back as the Dark Phoenix, and Cyclops was dating Dazzler in like a nightclub and shit, and Jean came back and saw them kissing and shit. Yeah. It was in the first animated series. So Dazzler's been in the show, but Mojo did give a little, this used to be Dazzler and shit.
Like that's why I was like.
But no, I didn't see. Did you see? But right around this point, Mojo was like changing the fucking channels. Did you see this?
Divorce? Yes.
Did you see
the
this?
Divorce court shit? Yes. Show the people. That shit was everything.
Well, not just the divorce court. It was a better one than the divorce court. It was this right here. Again, this is probably another reference, Mike. You don't know different world. It's okay. Two Americas. And she was only on there for like one season, by the way.
Hilarious.
And then all the real characters took over. And it's a classic show. It's an all-time great show, Mike. I don't know if it's quite, I love you, Mike, but I don't know if that's in your demographic. A different world. I don't know if it's in.
I watched, I've seen The Cosby Show. I've seen Lil Bill.
I love you so much, Michael.
Which is not the same, I'm aware, but that's what was on.
All right, that's enough. Enough racist talk. We had too many Cosby references on here. We might get banned. Bill Cosby.
I'm just letting you know what I've seen.
I know what
Lil Bill good though. Yeah, Lil Bill was good.
And so then Jubilee start going through, and she's fucking these levels up, bro. She is fucking these levels up
and having the time of her life.
Well, Sunspot is doing nothing.
0.
He had
Well,
like 0 points.
yeah, he ain't do shit.
She was carrying the team. She was definitely carrying the team.
And so they, she's fucking these levels up. She's going through the whole shit. It really
But they're
felt like
getting
an
help
old school
from
video game. It really
yeah,
did.
but they're getting help from that old girl. What's that young lady's name with all the arms? What's her name?
Spiral.
Spiral.
Yes, they're getting help from
She's
Spiral.
helping out.
And then they see like this figure who's got like this chrome, very 90s costume on, who's like trying to help them in the video game, but she's kind of getting blocked out here and there, but she's still like helping them out. And they basically get to the final boss, which is on Asteroid M, which is straight out of the actual video game, where Magneto was the final boss, and you did fight him on this Asteroid M base. And Asteroid M, Mike, so in case you knew, basically Magneto colonized an asteroid, and it was supposed to be like a safe haven for mutants. So like he tried this a bunch of times. Genosha, like they tried this, like they really tried to separate but equal shit. Like let us have our own shit, and the people would not let them have their own shit. But yeah, you go and fight Magneto on Asteroid M, and this time she beats his ass, and then they get to like fighting Mojo. Mojo puts himself in a video game. He's big as fuck at this point because the ratings is through the roof. And that's when Abscess shows up, who's an older version of Jubilee. And the funny thing about this is the actress who was voicing the older version of Jubilee is the original actress who played Jubilee back in the day, but she declined to come back. And this is some real ally shit right here. You're gonna love this, Devin, because she was a white woman and she thought that an Asian woman should play an Asian character. So
round of applause.
the Asian voice actress for Jubilee is now the voice actress for Jubilee is now an Asian woman, and the old actress is now playing played this older version of Jubilee in this thing. And anyway, what you find out is that Jubilees are much more powerful than you think. And they had a lot they have a lot of storylines of this in the comic books where she realizes like she can really fuck some shit up. It's not just sparkles and fireworks. Like she can really fuck shit up. Like she can trigger like things on an atom, like on the level of an atom, and like blow atoms up in your body. Like she can do some real powerful shit that can fuck people up. And so this Jubilee was doing like spinning shits with the fucking pyrotechnics.
She was floating, levitating with whatever she does with her feet. She turned things into saws and cut the Mojo's leg off. It was a lot, man. It's a lot of good stuff.
They basically fuck Mojo up. And then they get out of the video game. Sunspot almost died. They even had the blinking person. That shit was so funny because back in the day, like in fighting games and shit, when you about to die,
when your health was like this,
you start blinking. So he was blinking, like, and they gave him a new life, a level up life, which is like an X-Men symbol, which is exactly what it used to be, like a 1-up. And I thought that was kind of meta to show, like, yeah, he's going to join the X-Men at some point this season. And so he gets his 1-up. She gets him back to life. They come back to the room, and Jubilee was like, I thought you was going to go. Like, I thought you was gone. I don't know if I can't lose you. I can't let you go. And so she kisses her, and that's the end of Motendo. Mike, so you didn't enjoy that episode at all? You ain't like it?
It was fine.
It was just fine.
Ones I've seen so far, it was just fine.
It was great. It's very sad.
I understand the nostalgia, and now that you've explained it, like I can see why you enjoyed it a lot more than I did. But for me, it was just fine. I mean, my other issue again is the next story is a lot more important, and I feel like that could have benefited from more details.
Part one.
I know there's another part, but I still feel like part one could have benefited from some additional details.
All right. Anybody in the chat, let us know what you thought about Motendo before we get into Lifedeath, part one. But yeah, Motendo was, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. So then we got Lifedeath part one. So we pick back up with Storm. Apparently, we don't know how much time has passed, but I'm going to assume It's been a good amount of time that's passed because
I thought she was with him for like months.
I'm gonna have to assume that because that black woman not leaving and going to live with that man after a couple of days. Like Storm, like she not gonna do that. So it's been some
I
time.
mean,
She had a hotel. Forge came over to the hotel room a couple of times, talked it out. They went to the bar. Forge lived in Dallas, by the way, in the comic books. So and they were in Texas in the show. So I'm assuming they're in Dallas. So they went to.
no, they outside of Dallas now. They outside of Dallas. He said I walked into that bar in Dallas because I did. I knew you needed something.
He got a crib somewhere in North Dallas. He got with some land somewhere. Where he can ride his horse and shit. But
that is not North Dallas, Brandon.
That's North Dallas,
bro.
Isn't that just Fort Worth?
Huh?
Bro,
is North Dallas just Fort Worth?
Yeah, maybe he out in Fort Worth somewhere. Maybe he out there,
bro.
Out west.
I saw a canyon.
No, he was out there. I thought he was in Arizona or New Mexico.
Yeah, they left. They left. They left Dallas.
No, they didn't leave Dallas. They still in Dallas.
Hey, bro.
They in Texas. They still in Texas. It had to be a few months because
Brandon's trying to justify Texas.
Yeah, no, because he's not winning right now.
Storm staying at the crib. She do got her own room though, so they ain't what the old black people call it, Devin?
They ain't shacking up. They ain't shacking up.
I was like, on the tip of my mind. They ain't shacking up. Do y'all have a term for that, Mike? When two people are living together but they ain't married?
Playing house?
Hooking up, maybe?
No. Playing house. We'll go with y'all playing house.
I mean, I've never heard that, but we can go. That sounds good.
What?
I'm sure the Lebanese side of you got a term. The Arab they got a term for that.
No, they just she's a harlot.
That would be what Devin's time was haram. But we're not Muslims, so we don't say that.
But
they would just you'd be scolded and maybe beat a little bit.
Yes.
Or a spatula. Depends.
So yeah. They together, man, and we got a nice couple
romantic dinner that I feel like maybe it's the anniversary of maybe the first month they've been together because he made a nice little meal for her. Maybe it's a birthday or something.
She did come out there in the overalls, so she wasn't trying to get that dressed up for that man. But got a nice indigenous man, nice good looking indigenous man with a metal leg. And we got a guy
and a middle hand,
hair, a black woman, beautiful black woman with white mohawk. Like, can you imagine when they go out in public in Dallas in 1997?
Again, they left.
That makes it worse. They in El Paso somewhere walking around.
Ain't nobody listen. Hey, look, you tell me another person you saw when they got to that little house. Nobody.
He took her back to the Native American land where all his friends are, and he feels good there. And he's got his horses somewhere in New Mexico or Arizona.
I ain't see no friends, Michael.
He's not trying to have any old Krampus style, but they're around. They're in a couple miles away in their own little houses.
Did you see how big his fucking house is? Ain't no little nothing.
Yes.
Ain't no in the comic books. He got a whole ass penthouse in downtown Dallas that like overlooks the city. Like he got a whole ass penthouse.
You letting your comic book propaganda bring you from the show trying to tell you they out in the wilderness. They out here.
This episode was a lot of. They took some panels straight out of Life Death Part 1 from the comic books, like the first Life Death issue. Like they were telling that story greatly. But Forge basically, Storm is like, thank you for all the stuff you've been doing for me, however long I've been here. And Forge is like, any friend of Xavier is a friend of mine. And this is how we know Xavier in the TV show is not Xavier in the damn comic book. Because Xavier in the comic book is an asshole. And Xavier in the TV show is very virtuous. And everybody likes him. And he's good friends with everyone. He's not creeping on Jean. He's not trying to fuck a 16-year-old. He's not turning on his friends. He's not taking the side of the humans over the mutants. Like, he's not doing all this fuck shit. A little bit of that one in the show, but not really. He's very noble in the show. So the nobility is there. So yeah, that's Xavier.
Cause man, like you can't be doing Charles like this, man. You're not gonna do Xavier like this. Like, the slander. I mean, again, for all the comic book people, y'all got it. We don't want to live in that world right now. We're just trying to live where Charles. We're mourning the loss of a good man, and you throwing out him trying to fuck on his 16-year-old because it was there. There's some other questionable decisions he did in the comic books. But yeah, go ahead. I can't.
I mean, what you want me to lie?
No, truth is the truth. God damn it. God damn Rudolph.
I mean, it's right here. This is from the 60s. But upon reaching the chamber, the X-Men suddenly stop in their tracks, respectfully, as they see. Don't worry, sir. Remember how well you've trained us. Be careful, my dear. I cannot tell what powers this mutant may possess. He may be a danger to you. This is a thought bubble. They don't do those no more in the comic books. But this is what's going on in Xavier's head while this shit is going on. Don't worry, as though I could help worrying about the one I love, but I can never tell her. I have no right, not while I'm the leader of the X-Men and confined to this wheelchair. That's the reason? Because you're in a
Because his dick don't
wheelchair?
work. Because his dick don't work. His dick don't work, so he like, you good.
That's
You
the
say
reason
to me,
you can't tell this 17-year-old you don't love her? She might not be 17 no more at this point, but when you met her, she was a fucking kid. She was a fucking kid. You went to her parents' house to take her to this fucking school. We saw that shit in episode 2. Xavier pulled up at her fucking parents' house to take her to this school. So yes, but it's the wheelchair. That's why he can't love her. That's
the same.
It's the wheelchair.
All right, I've done some research.
What's the research you've done?
All right, so Forge is a Cheyenne Native American based, and he frequently goes back there. He's a medicine man from there. I think the cabin was in the Cheyenne territory for the Native Americans, which I don't know what state this is supposed to be, but it doesn't look like Texas. I think it's Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas. That's where they were. I figured it out. I solved the problem. Wasn't Dallas.
Kansas ain't that far from Dallas.
That's what I'm saying. You know, especially they've been together for months. You know,
I don't believe it.
she needs to be out in nature. She's a weather mutant. She needs to be out in nature to get her powers.
She's a weather mutant.
You can't
Now
be
she's
doing
a
that
weather mutant.
You can't walk outside Dallas and be like, "Winds bend to my will," because people are gonna think she's crazy.
I mean, she could.
I'm with Mike.
He took her to the Cheyenne province, where he's a medicine man. And
I don't like that term. That sounds racist.
That's what it said in the Marvel database.
I mean, Marvel can be racist.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, well, he was a Cheyenne trained medicine person. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. You can say medicine man. Say with your chest. You know, he's a healer.
Well,
I think it'd be cool to be a medicine man.
He's a mystic.
He explains his powers in this episode. Essentially, what his powers is he's Tony Stark. That's his powers.
He's Tony Stark conceptually, and he can make it happen. Yes,
he's a combination of Tony and Reed and Moon Girl and Valeria Richards. He's all the smartest people in the world. His mutant gene is basically, I can think of anything and I can engineer that shit. Anything I can think of, I can figure out a way to engineer that shit. Which is actually a pretty fucking cool power. Like, Mike, wouldn't that be a really cool power to have? Like,
yes,
because he's not really a mutant.
I can solve some of these mutants. How do people even know they're mutants? Like,
they don't, but they not. A lot of the mutants ain't self-hating, so they're not trying to hide that shit.
That's true.
Hey, Roberto is going through some things. He is a young boy just trying to make it in the world.
I think he's annoying. I'd be using my power. If I got superpowers, I'd be using them all the time.
Solar energy? Fuck out of here, bro.
That's a lot of energy to control. That's a lot to control.
I'd be flying around.
Well, Forge explains that shit, and then he explains why his leg metal. And so this is what made me confused, because I was like, Storm,
X-Force.
you've been here for 2 months, and you just now asking him about his metal leg?
No, I'm telling you, man.
Bro. No, that's a personal question. You can't ask right away. You got to wait.
You can't ask a personal question right. Why can't you?
That's a very invasive question to ask somebody with a traumatic injury on their body right away, I think.
What's right away?
I'm not. If I meet somebody,
I'm telling you,
for the first
maybe
time,
it won't.
I'm not gonna be like, hello, nice to meet you. Excuse me, what happened to your leg and why is it gone?
Hey, is that big ass mole your face cancerous?
If you living in that person's house, you're not finna ask that question?
That's not my business. Eventually, I'll ask when the time is right, when we're sharing a drink together, getting to know each other a little bit. I'm not just gonna be like, yo,
okay,
what's up with the leg?
Okay.
Appreciate
What's
the
that?
help, but I need to know before we proceed. What's with the leg and the hand?
I wouldn't ask
Both.
that on my first time talking. I probably would ask you
No.
on my first date. That's a good conversation.
Yeah.
They're not.
You
They
got-
weren't on a date. This didn't start as a
They,
date.
they just had dinner, they had wine.
Brandon's
This
trying
man
to
made
push this before. I'm sure it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
They clearly are feeling each other at
Yeah,
this
but it
point.
didn't start. She
I
just
feel
wants
like
she started in
no
a desperate place.
time
She
out.
wants her powers
Time out.
back.
I feel like they humped already. I feel like they already humped
Oh, okay.
because
Now you taking it.
because no. This is why I tell you. Because when that man got the test slapped out of his mouth, that man was on some bullshit. That man said, "I waiting on time to tell you I love you."
See, this
I
is why I
got
keep complaining that these are too fast because we don't know if it's been months. From what it looks like, if you don't really think about it, is it's been like a week.
I can think of that's why I said a month. That's why I said a month. I give or take a month because you got to travel
A month is
to that
not a
place.
lot of time to fall in love with somebody.
No. But I mean, if you get the little honey pot, you know what I mean.
I guess they're
You
spending
slide
every
in-
day together. I assume, you know.
You slide in the home consistently, Mike. I'm just saying, you feeling on top of the world.
We are
You feeling?
we are a sex positive show. However, Storm don't strike me as a person that's fucking forward
Hey,
in the first couple of days. I feel
you're
like
a goddess. How you know she a goddess? Brandon, it's all in front of your face. If you don't want to say it, you don't gotta say it.
I feel like
I mean, she's an empowered woman.
I feel like Storm was playing this when he went to forward. I feel like Storm was playing this. I mean, this is what Storm was playing. I want to get down, but not on the first night. Like she was rocking, like Monica was blasting in that cabin. You don't think Monica was blasting? Monica was blasting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but again, it's not the first. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This man made this meal. His mother's bison chili. He took a little bit of spice out of it. You know what I mean? Like he got wine. I mean, you're not gonna tell me he ain't slid home, yo. He slid home at least once. Cause you're not. First of all, that man ain't gonna fix his mouth to say he love you if he ain't slid home. Says she's a goddess. You missing like says she a goddess. How you know he worship at that? He is worshiping at that temple named Aurora. That's the same. I'm just saying. You missing things.
Anyway, he also talked about how his leg got missing. He was in Nam. Forge was in Nam. Something happened. Fucked up his leg. He got it replaced.
So my thing is with this, right? We don't talk about him time traveling. We're not gonna talk about him time traveling anytime
Well,
soon.
he not time traveling. He just exists in that future. I don't know how he got
How-
there. I
That's
don't know how he got
okay.
there. But he was there with Bishop. But the Bishop future not that far. I think that was like 2032. So it's only like 30. It's only like 30 years from there.
Not it, what?
95 to 2032. Hopefully we gonna be alive in fucking 6 years.
No.
Yes. Yo, daddy gonna be alive in 6 years.
He better. I hope
And
so.
he was
You're
older
right.
than fucking Forge in 1996
You're right.
or whatever the fuck.
You're right. You're right.
What
You're
are we
right.
talking about? So yes,
Shout out to my
so he
daddy.
was alive. The other mutants died. So Forge probably went underground, did some shit to not get caught. But he just survived to 2032. This is not Cable, who like way in the future. Cable way in the future. Forge is like 30 years from now. Well, 30 years from this time period in the future. But yeah. So then Forge, we find out Forge did some real fuck shit, man. He was taking some pictures with some real fucked up people on that board. You saw a picture of X Factor, which we're gonna see come back.
Right.
With Multiple Man and Scott's brother Havoc, who's gonna be rubbing Madelyne's feet next time we see him. They was all in the picture, so Forrest gets down with the X Factor. But we saw that in the original series when that's the thing. Nobody else knew about them. But Charles knew about X Factor, and he saw them together. And Charles should have put a copyright infringement on them. Because it's like, yo, you stealing my shit. You got my X symbol, calling yourself X Factor and shit.
Right. I just need to know what the fuck is really going on. Like that's
got a
all,
franchise for the X-Men name, right?
Yeah,
in universe, Charles franchised that shit. and he get royalties anytime a superhero group come out using the name
With
X
X.
something, Excalibur, X Factor, X Force. He got all that shit trademarked. How else Charles so fucking rich? He got to be doing something. Look,
he went on
in our
Jeopardy.
world
What you
today,
talking about?
everybody hate billionaires. So Charles would not be liked in our world.
Hey
He
man,
wouldn't be no MLK in 2024. Twitter would be like,
I mean,
how did Charles get
hey,
that money though? Who did he exploit?
I don't hate Jeff Bezos. I don't hate Jeff Bezos.
Why Charles got 107 rooms in his house and he not give them to the unhoused? That would be on Twitter. That's what would be. That's what would be on Twitter. I'm not lying to you.
The house mutants. I mean, I feel like they could come. I mean, say like
Charles let the Morlocks live in the fucking sewers. They living in the sewers. Charles let them live down there. And I don't want nobody to tell me, oh, they want to live down there. They don't want to come live with Charles. No, they want to live. Who don't want to come live with Charles? You got food, water, toilet, like on Meet the Parents.
I'm just saying, Joel turned people away from the church when the hurricane came. So I mean, Joel's a good man. I hope. I don't know, but Joel seems to be a good man. People just, hey, it's too many people coming. I don't want to know that.
Okay. Mike, are you becoming a fan of Forge, or you still don't rock with Forge?
He's fine. I don't know anything about him other than what we've learned in the episode. But I mean, I like the second half, the Storm story, like significantly more than the Jubilee story.
Forge makes this machine to kind of help Storm get her powers back.
Oh no! Tell me. Before you say that, the reason. Okay, so you going back and forth. So Forge has worked with the federal government.
That was after this.
But I'm just saying you had did that before you went back and forth. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like Forge was working with the federal government because he was angry about when he came back from the war. So he gave the government a rough sketch of the mutant collars to nullify mutants' powers so they can be captured. And then it doesn't like he's trying to heal Storm and he puts Storm in the machine that is supposed to give her powers back. And then after that, he has the inclination to confess his love and to confess about who he used to work for. And it went sideways.
And then a giant bird thing breaks in.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I'll explain that to you, Mike. But so in the comic books, it's worse. It's even more fucked up than the Storm gets mad, slaps the shit out of Forge. Basically called him a Jason Whitlock, and Forge is like, no, I love my people. Like I wasn't doing that shit. But in the comic books, what happened is Storm lost her powers because she was shot by a gun that Forge made. So Forge ain't tell her that shit until later. Like, yeah, he basically had the conversation he had in this show, but it was about a gun that he made for the government to shoot mutants to take away their powers.
Oh shit, that's way worse. I'm glad we ain't do that. That's way worse.
This time Forge was like, yeah, I was just, I got a contract, right? They had me make this shit. They didn't tell me what it was. They just told me the specs and shit. So I made this shit. I took that contract. How do you think I got all this land? Like, I can't have this land and build this shit for you if I don't get some money. So I had to take the man's money. They made them fucking collars. But look, I'm also making shit to stop them from using the collars. Like, that's what he told them off camera. Like, I got that shit. But yeah, she get in the fucking machine. That shit don't work. She go out and do her, I am the mistress of the winds. And the wind not moving. Then you see the tree start shaking a little bit. She get a little smile on her face and the birds fly out. And you just see all the energy just come out. Like all the energy.
She ugly cried too. She ugly cried.
It was just gone at that point. And I felt so bad for Storm. But this is such a good storyteller because when she come back, she's gonna be so powerful. Scott ain't gonna be the leader no more. She's gonna be running that fucking X-Men team. It's gonna be glorious. I already know what's coming. I know what's coming. But then that's when what Mike said. This big
maybe don't spoil the bird because maybe I should just wait and see how.
No, it's not a spoil. I'm not gonna spoil the bird. So then the bird comes in, and this big ass bird is basically like in their mind and shit. So, the bird is so. If you notice that Ford, called the bird like a demon or something. If you when she was in there, like Get out of here, demon, or something like that. I think is what he
Get out of my
said.
house. Get out of my property. Something like that. Whatever.
Yeah, basically. So anyway, that demon is actually from Forge's past, not Storm's past. Although
Mm.
the voice actor for the
Sinister?
bird is actually Storm, the woman playing Storm.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But anyway, the character's name is Adversary, and essentially when Forge was in Vietnam, he was about to die, and his whole troop was about to die. He basically did like a native, like an
Deal with the
indigenous
devil.
person prayer or something like that to like
Mm-hmm.
like bring the spirit to come help me so I don't die right here. And Adversary showed up, but Adversary then became a malevolent figure, and he basically wanted to like take over all reality and shit. So he's there to fuck with him. But I don't know exactly where this is going in the show with Adversary, but that's who that bird is from the book. So yeah, Adversary shows up and he basically like, gotcha, bitch. Y'all ain't going nowhere. And then we leave with a cliffhanger, which I love to see. I miss the cliffhangers. X-Men was famous for them cliffhangers back in the day. Did y'all? But I don't know. I assume y'all were confused with the ending.
Very.
Yeah, I didn't know who that person was. So
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, they're gonna tell you.
also, I love Forge because I had a Forge action figure, and his arm was clear and his leg was clear. It was amazing. Good times. He had a little gun, everything. Shout out
Them
to my daddy.
X-Men action figures were so fire.
Archie, man, man.
What action figures did you have, Mike?
I had Transformers.
Okay.
I had
The good ones?
I don't
Like
know,
the good ones?
maybe. I had a lot of Legos.
Did you have Batman?
Yeah, Spider-Man. I had a few Spider-Man I remember
Devin used
distinctly.
to have the Batmobile from Batman
I
89
did.
from the movie.
I did.
I had a lot of toys. I just don't really remember anymore. What?
Mike, are you still excited about these episodes? You didn't have a lot of energy today. I
feel like I had good
up.
energy. I've been trying better and better every week.
Need that energy up. We need to get you
I thought it was
coffee,
I thought I
some
came to
Red
the
Bull.
table with interesting and
you did
unique perspectives.
You did have
Really
unique
good.
perspective, sir. You did that.
So next episode
My hot
is
take
called,
that this wasn't as good of an episode.
It's fine. I'm not going to knock you. I do want to know why Bo DeMaio got fired though, because he's writing the shit out of the show. And I
Hold
really
on,
want to know.
How did he get fired? When did he get
Bo
fired?
I heard
DeMaio
it was
is the showrunner and writer for these episodes. He got fired like right before this came out, but nobody knows why he got fired. So people are speculating on the internet, but I don't really want to do that to that man. I don't think that's fair. But they saying it's because some people are saying it's because he got an OnlyFans, and Disney ain't want him to have
Okay.
an OnlyFans. But apparently, from what I read, his OnlyFans isn't explicit. It's just like pictures with his shirt off and shit. It's not like he's fucking people on the OnlyFans.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so I don't know if that's the reason why. So I don't know, but he's writing the shit out of this show, so it must have been something. To me, it had to be something. But next episode is called Remember It. The synopsis is, as Genosha prepares to join the UN, select members of the team head to the island nation to be honorees. Back at the mansion, a behind-the-scenes press event risks airing the X-Men's dirty laundry. Woo! Dirty laundry. What they hiding? What they hiding in that mansion? Is what I want to know.
I mean, they got Magneto.
Mike, what are you
Yeah,
looking
but they
forward
know
to
that.
next week?
Oh, what? I mean, wait. So are they not? I'm guessing is it going to be another 15 minute
No.
where they do?
No, one episode. I just read you.
Oh, is so the Storm Part 2 is not? It's going to be after.
It's the following week, Michael.
The following week. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was looking forward to. But I mean, this is cool too. I mean, I'm sure they're going to find out about Jean, I guess, unless it's something we haven't heard before. I don't know. That could be.
Hold on. What's
well,
fucking gonna find about Jean?
They said Jean and Cyclops
And
at
Scott.
the UN, so we're gonna see them next week. But you know,
So what's the dirty laundry? Is it Rogue and Magneto, or is it? I mean,
is it Jean got a clone? Is it Xavier's not dead?
maybe we don't know. Oh, maybe is he not? I bet he's not dead.
Well, I don't know the
I
answer.
guess Brandon would know.
No,
I don't know
the
the
answer.
yeah.
I don't know the answer. I don't know what they're doing in the show. The last episode of the animated series, he went to fucking space. But
yeah, that's
all the people
Shi'ar
was there. They knew he went to space. They weren't acting like that niggas in space. They was acting like he dead in the first episode of the season. Dead. So I'm assuming
someone shot him. Someone shot him with a gun.
Oh, yeah,
right, that wasn't in the first episode. Yeah, I got it. Disease last time. It was a little. I still see his
like
ass, Cinderella.
I still see his ass in the intro. And guess who wasn't in the intro today? Storm and Bishop. They weren't in the fucking intro today. You know why? Because they're not in the X-Men. But Xavier's ass was still in that fucking intro, pressing the fucking finger on his head.
That's a good catch.
That's a good catch, though. I didn't hear because I wasn't watching it. I was like walking around the house. But damn.
So I kind of want to know what's going on with that.
I'm sure he'll show up in the. Are they doing a season 2? I bet he'll show up in the finale.
Yeah, that's already got approved for a season 2.
Yeah, he'll show up in the finale. I guarantee it.
Is that your prediction?
Based on what you just said, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. Shi'ar. I want the Shi'ar.
Some of the things that people are talking about, they want to see when Cable shows up because we saw Nathan as a baby, so grown ass Nathan has got to show up at some point in this time. Is Xavier alive? Where the fuck does Sinister go? Like, is he gonna show up and cause some fuck shit? Like, there's a lot of loose threads that they gotta keep going on here that, you know, is really exciting to see what's gonna happen.
So why the fuck isn't Magneto doing the Genosha thing? That's what I want to know. That's kind of what I want to know. And
Genosha, well, I mean, they did Genosha in the original series, but I don't think you want them to do that.
Okay.
You don't want that. You don't.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
No, you don't want that. Before we get out of here, I sent Mike a picture today in our group chat because I knew this would actually get Mike happy. Of a set photo of Charlie Cox and John Bernthal in full regalia on the set of the new Daredevil series with the Punisher with the whole ass fucking skull on his chest. And Mike, did that make you warm inside? Did that make you happy? Did that make you excited?
Yes. I'm excited. This is one thing Brandon knows. I love the Netflix show. I thought it was the best one that they put out. And I've been waiting for Daredevil to come back since this whole thing happened. So it made my day.
So the show was gonna be Daredevil and Punisher, or
it's gonna be Daredevil, but it's gonna be 22 episodes.
Which is finally they need to start doing actual length stuff.
It's gonna be 22 episodes broken into 2 parts. It's supposed to come out next year. It was supposed to come out this year, but they scrapped all that shit, so it's coming out next year because they didn't like how the show was going. The cast is back. So John Bernthal posted a picture with Old Girl and Foggy.
Foggy, it's my guy.
So like the crew is coming back. I saw some type of news about Luke Cage coming back. Did y'all see that?
I didn't see it. I haven't followed much of the news recently.
Really?
I don't know the same actor.
He got kind of big.
The dude who played Iron Fist did an interview, and he basically teased that him and Mike Coulter are coming back as Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Okay.
And
are we sticking with that?
The Defenders.
I mean,
are they coming back?
Iron Fist season 2 was not bad. I know people like to hate it. Iron Fist season 1 was not good. Iron Fist season 2 was not bad, especially when they focused more not on Danny Rand.
Yeah,
not on Danny Rand. When they focused on Colleen and Misty Knight, that was good.
Good stuff.
That was good. But I really just want Jessica Jones back. That's who I want back from that crew. Like Mike.
Why? Yeah, that's crazy. But like honestly, like back. Why? Again, she has the best ratings of all those shows. The viewership of Jessica
Daredevil had the best by far.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. But like as far as opposite Daredevil, it was Jessica Jones. So it's Daredevil then Jessica Jones. As far as
Yeah.
like the longevity of just people keep rewatching Jessica Jones though, like that's a real thing. Um, I don't know. That's weird.
We'll see.
But I don't need to see any Luke Cage. I don't.
I expect to see some cameos in Daredevil. I mean, Daredevil showed up in Echo, and so that was good to see. So I expect to see some cameos going forward. I'm interested to
Can we
see.
get a Kingpin show? I want to see him do some. Let's just
He
do
was
all
in
this shit.
Echo.
I know he was. I just wanted the Kingpin show. Get some Peter Parker.
Vincent D'Onofrio is dope. That's what people want.
Yeah.
Is so there's. I mean, we'll talk about this when we get into our regular shows in the news. But like, apparently, there's dissension behind the scenes because Sony wants Spider-Man 4 to be like this big, sprawling, massive, multiversal show like movie, and Marvel, the MCU, Kevin Feige, they want it to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. They want him to be street level, like get back to the street level shit. So essentially, like Kingpin shows up, like he's fucking with the Kingpin and Tombstone and the street level people, like that.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to see. I mean, they gave him that. He don't got that sweet ass suit no more. Remember at the end of No Way Home, he got that regular ass shiny suit from the '80s, made out of cloth and shit. Like, well, who he gonna fight in the multiverse with that suit? Get his ass beat. So I want to see him on the local level, fucking with Daredevil, like he did in the comic books, like he did in the cartoon.
Then we can get Blade. Jump in there, and then I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with that Mahershala Ali Blade show. Series. That was supposed to come out.
You know who's really excited for that? Joe.
Really?
Joe is the only person who liked the Blade movies, and he was like,
No. He's the only. He's not the only one.
This is another Two Americas thing. That was a very Two Americas comment, Mike.
Wow.
We of the melanin complexion love Blade.
I thought he was a terrible person and hard to work with.
I don't care about none of that.
Hold on.
You talking about Wesley Snipes?
Wesley Snipes.
He don't pay his taxes. He just don't pay his taxes.
Joe's obsessed with Mahershala Ali, and he's obsessed with Blade, and he was.
Oh, hold on, Scar's in here. My man Scar from the RTO podcast. Let me see what Scar said. Ward is the best character in that show. That's true. I guess that's true. What do you mean Iron Fist 2? You want Iron Fist back, or you don't want Iron Fist back?
No, I'm not sure.
I don't want Iron Fist back. I'm good on Iron Fist. Why don't we race change him? Race change Iron Fist or gender change Iron Fist. Like, get Danny Rand the fuck off my screen. That's what I want. I don't want to see him back on my screen.
You don't like the privilege? You don't like the privilege on your screen?
Just make Colleen Iron Fist. Give me that. I'll watch that show. I'll pop that show. I'll play that shit on repeat. Give me that shit.
But yeah, repeat. Mike. Again, we got to circle back to the Blade community thing. We're here for Blade. We all like want to be ninjas, and he had the little spiral thing. That shit was cool. And he's black with sunglasses, so we fucking with it. He's cool. We had day offer.
I mean, Joe is like pumped. He wants to come on the show and review it, and I was like, well, hold on. Let's just see what happens.
Of course, I'm starting to like Joe more now.
I'm gonna send him a clip of this later, and I'm gonna be like, well, you're good for Blade whenever that happens.
What you mean? Did you even watch Blade, Mike? Now, if you're talking about
a long time ago, long.
Oh, yo!
Listen. Joe has the worst taste in movies, so we all make fun. Like he's got.
What? What else does he like? Don't you like Catwoman?
No, he likes Scream, but that's a cult classic, I guess. So I mean, I can't.
Joe's an old soul, is what you're saying.
He's old. Joe's favorite. His favorite movie is The Replacements. I think it's about football.
Oh, Keanu.
You can't go wrong.
You know what? You're gonna forbid Joe from coming on when I say this.
Why?
Because I've yelled at him about this many, many times. Joe loves Tyler Perry movies.
So?
I mean, he's the old soul. I want his favorite one. I rock with Joe.
What's his favorite one? His favorite. He watches it all the time when he was living.
Go to jail. When did go to jail? Good. I like that.
No, it's not a Medea movie.
Boo.
Let me look it up. It's something about Think Like a
Who?
Man. That's what it's called. He likes Think Like a
Oh,
Man. That's one of his
that's the
favorite
Kevin Hart. That's Kevin Hart. That's Kevin. That's
Is
Steve
it?
Harvey movie.
Is it Kevin Hart?
Or the Mel Gibson version?
It's not. No, it's. Oh, it is Kevin Hart. Is it Tyler Perry? Is this not a Tyler Perry movie? Joe
No.
said it. Oh, it's not even a Tyler Perry movie. Well, shit. Now
No.
I sound horrible.
It's, they all look the same, Michael?
But
They all
Joe,
look the
no,
same?
no, that's not it. Joe loves Tyler Perry movies. It just so happens that the one I can remember that he likes is not a Tyler Perry movie.
Hilarious.
Think Like a Man. That's what it's called.
Joe, if you listen to this, we got you, Joe.
We got you.
Joe.
This is a safe place for you, sir. But yeah, the only Blade movie that was questionable was the Blade Trinity movie, and we're like, yeah, it seemed like a cash grab. It seemed like a cash grab wasn't the best rating.
Oh, Scar said I said that when Luke Cage was coming back. He's saying that Iron Fist is coming back too. Yeah, Iron Fist stank ass is coming back.
Hey, he's trying to make his right to wrong. You know, I mean, his wrong's right. He's trying to right those wrongs.
So yeah, I mean, this is our first live stream, which was fun. We've been
We
doing the
did
podcast
it!
for like 5 years.
America!
So the podcast people, y'all still gonna get this. Y'all ain't gonna see all the shit that we did, but go check out the live stream. Those of y'all who subscribe, listen to the podcast on YouTube. That Cool Black Nerd on YouTube. That Cool Black Nerd on Twitter, Facebook. We're gonna put it out on the show, the Watch the Series show page. I need to get that shit set up, but it's gonna be out on that too. So we'll be back next week, hopefully for X-Men 97, episode 5. We're gonna get back together during our regular shows too at some point in here where we just talk about the news, kick the shit, have some fun, talk about robots fucking and all types of crazy shit. We haven't done robot news in a long ass time, which is a staple of our show because there's always some crazy robot or AI news that Mike supports. And by the way, Devin, I didn't tell you this. Mike texted me a few months ago because some shit happened with some AI, and he said, I finally see what y'all have been talking about with this AI stuff.
We can talk about this. I don't remember, but we could talk about it on the next show. Maybe we'll bring back the fake news segment.
Yes, that was fun too. So yeah, we had a lot of great segments on the show that we haven't done in a while. Let me see.
Start bringing that back for the regular episodes.
Scar said the Replacements is goated. Yes, it is. And you don't know nothing about that, Mike. But the Replacements.
Boy, that boy Keanu.
The Replacements.
He don't miss.
Fire. Have you seen Any Given Sunday, Mike?
No.
Oh, Michael, you want to talk about like pro wrestling, what it used to be like to play football, Al Pacino spitting on people, LL Cool J punching a motherfucker in the face, Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson before they got to the NFL. Everything. It's everything.
You never heard of Willie Beeman, Mike?
No.
Damn shame.
You know what? Just for old time's sake, I'm gonna do this. There's a story out about this company called Unitary Robotics, and they have built the robot that can do backflips better than gymnasts. Why? Mike, explain to me that. Mr. Robot Defender, you're pro robot.
I don't know that I'm pro robot anymore. Actually, I'm pro robot. I'm not really pro AI anymore.
Thank you. He's come to our side, Devin.
Maybe we'll talk.
He's come to our side. He's seen the light.
Thing to say about this. We'll talk. I'm gonna prepare. I'll prepare my case.
He has seen the light.
Have notes and everything. Okay, I love that.
But why are you building a robot that can do backflips? Why?
Because we can.
I mean, that's the answer. Yes, because we can. But what is the practical reason? Even if I'm pro-robot.
Because we can.
I want robots to do shit to help us. Like save people from burning buildings.
Yeah, maybe with gymnastics.
Help old ladies cross the street. Like
this quantum processing so we can solve cancer. Just do all the processing for the cancer.
What do I need a robot to do a backflip
Because
for?
we can. That's the only reason.
Okay. I guess that's the answer. So anyway, I'm new to this YouTube thing, so I know you're supposed to say subscribe and like this video. So please, if you're watching this, subscribe, like the video. If you're watching on Twitter, Give me a follow on Twitter. We're gonna be back every week doing this. Those of you listening on the podcast, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If it's a 5-star review, we'll read it on the show. I haven't checked the reviews in a while, so I'm about to see if we got any for next week. But until then, we'll be back next week for episode 5 of X-Men 97. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.